game that brings together many of Capcom's 2D fighting titles from the 90s.
Yes, children, back in the day, fighting wasn't the 3D polygonal experience that Soul Calibur and Virtua Fighter fans enjoy today.
It was flat, arcade-style pummeling.
Well, in case you missed it the first time...
Or just want a blast of nostalgia.
Here's our review of Capcom Fighting Evolution. Let's have fun with etymology. Today's word, evolution, meaning the process of developing. Which brings us to Capcom Fighting Evolution. The evolution in the title might give the impression that the dead horse that is the series might have pulled a Lazarus, stumbled to its feet, and staggered forward into a new era. Right, and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania is gonna start putting out the Harvard biology grads left and right. So the game has you play characters from a wide selection of Capcom 2D fighters. Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 3, Darkstalkers, and the little scene Red Earth. And then pits them against each other in this title. That's all. Given this how we're looking at a time span of 1991 to 1997, there's disparity in the look of the characters. Are we giving kids the wrong idea that with just a marble sack and a dye job you can beat dragon things? Now, graphical stasis is one thing, but gameplay balancing is another. See, these characters still play like they did in their original games. So characters with a bunch of power moves can run stuttered, pixelated roughshod over the less combinationally endowed folk. You see, by the very principles of evolution, this shouldn't happen. The lesser, more primitive characters would either adapt to the harsher conditions, or they would become extinct. To be honest, this doesn't even fall under the scientifically suspicious heading of intelligent design. Well, because it isn't. Now, to be fair, the way each character controls in the game is faithful, so one or two well-informed gamers can get some interesting, well-balanced fights. But that's not too many people out there. Oh yeah, go Squid! Which brings us to the final point. Who the hell is interested in yet another retreaded 2D fighter from Capcom? The creative ecosystem of this subgenre has been so depleted of its resources that the only people still interested are the gaming equivalent of the lungfish, determined to survive. But why? So, if you need to have the 8 billionth incarnation of the series and you're patient enough to navigate through the imbalances, there's a game you can play. That's it. A 2 out of 5.
But we begin with a classic Capcom fighting game from the 90s.
Sure, everyone knows Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom, but there's a lesser-known Capcom fighting series that's finally getting a second life on the PSP.
And it has werewolves. Here's our review of Darkstalkers Chronicle, the Chaos Tower. You know, everyone loves an epic monster battle matchup, like Godzilla vs. Mothra, Freddy vs. Jason, or Clint Howard vs. Don Swayze, which is what the developers at Capcom must have known when they made our next game, Darkstalkers Chronicle the Chaos Tower for the PSP. Oh look, I've suddenly been transported back in time to 1998. There's just enough time to save Sonny Bono from that tree. No way, this is just a compilation of 3 old games ported over to a new system. That's right, people, the Darkstalkers are back. For those of you unfamiliar with the series, Darkstalkers is an old-school 2D fighter with famous monsters. Only their names are different. Like, Dimitri is obviously supposed to be Dracula, or Lestat, or Count Chocula, or somebody. Victor is Frankenstein. Jay Talbane is a big bad werewolf. Anakaris is kinda like a mummy. This guy's a lagoon creature of some sort. This is... I don't know. Pass. Maybe the Wasp from the Avengers? Oh, and baby Bonnie Hood is Little Red Riding Hood, the scariest monster of them all. So the anime-inspired monsters are pretty cool, and the gameplay is even better. The intricate yet distinct Street Fighter-derived play mechanics make it accessible to the masses, but deep enough for the hardcore. And the ass-crunching combos have awesome names like Soul Flash, and the Chaos Flare, and the Love Herpy. Okay, maybe I made that last one up, but they are good. I mean, when's the last time you saw a vampire do a pile driver? The controls fare well on the PSP. There's wireless multiplayer, and even a variety of speed settings for the extreme junkies out there. Seriously, dude, you can get super fast. Hey, I beat the game in 5 seconds. The only new part of the game is the Chaos Tower mode, where the player selects 3 characters to battle through a branching series of fights without any ability to heal. Honestly, there's not much chaos in the Chaos Tower. If you look, it's really very linear. Maybe parking at the Chaos Tower is crazy. Ultimately, a new game with new characters and gameplay would have been better than a port, but Darkstalkers Chronicles is still a solid and satisfying portable fighting experience. As Dimitri or the Count from Sesame Street would say, we give it 3 love herpes out of 5.
Love herpes?
They're why Robin Williams' wife almost divorced him in the 80s.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, of course. The Darkstalkers looks pretty good on the PSP. I mean, these 2D fighters are capable of enjoying a second life on the handhelds. But when they try to put them back on the consoles, not so much.
Still, that didn't stop Capcom from milking a dead horse. Here's Capcom Fighting Evolution for the Xbox.
Beating a dead horse.
Did I say milking?
Yeah.
Remember the good old days of going to your local Blips video arcade and plopping in 2 bits to be dazzled by the cutting-edge gameplay of the current Street Fighter games? Yeah, I can't remember that far back either. But that still didn't stop Capcom from releasing Capcom Fighting Evolution for the Xbox. If you didn't catch the release of the game for the PS2 over 7 months ago, don't worry, you aren't missing much. It seems Marty left a hole in the time-space continuum, allowing all your favorite characters from Street Fighter 2 and 3, Street Fighter Alpha, Darkstalkers, and the practically unknown Red Earth to get together and throw a smack my bitch up party. Okay, maybe they are not your favorite, but they are characters from the game. Hey, a squid-snail hybrid. Wow, is there anything the Japanese can't do? Now, you would think that the developers would take advantage of the Xbox's hardware and take these characters to the next level. But instead, they cut and pasted their coin-up likenesses, giving the game an old-school look. We're talking BC, people. Another side effect of this piecemeal system is you have high-resolution characters fighting low-resolution characters from the other game, which makes the graphics look even more dated than they already are. It's like Super Mario versus Pong. Leapfrog! Leapfrog! Yay! Not to mention the severe character imbalances, where you have one character with many fancy pants abilities and blocks, and this little fighter has none. Just doesn't seem fair, does it? So, do as I do and take your aggression out on someone else. And by that, I mean take advantage of Xbox Live. Being able to use the online function truly makes this classic fighting game much more enjoyable to play. Quit hitting yourself! Quit hitting yourself! Don't get me wrong, this game isn't terrible. On a pure nostalgia level, the controls and gameplay are rock solid, and will make hardcore fanboys stay in the front of their jeans. But for me, it could have offered a lot more. I guess I'm just a game snob, so sue me. I'll just throw it with the other 1,000 lawsuits I already have. We give Capcom Fighting Evolution a 3 out of 5.
So, 2 Capcom fighting games, 2 platforms, and 2 scores of 3 out of 5.
In other words, unless you're a collector who loves 2D fighting, don't buy either of these games. Rent them. Gamefly.com.
They have hundreds of games you can rent or buy, so you can save your money for other things.
Like contributions to Live Aid, donations to your favorite charity.
Or buying action figures. That's what I would do. Because I'm a very bad person who needs to live through modeled plastic.